What's up, everybody, and welcome to the 13th episode of Sports Talk with me, your girl, Whitney B. I got a pack stack show for you guys today, a really good one. I'm excited to be a woman, especially for the show we have today. So without further ado, let's get this show started. And again, welcome to the 13th episode of Sports Talk with me, your girl, Whitney B. I am very excited to be a woman in sports this week, especially because the women is really kicking butt. Like, I just want to... Y'all, last week I talked about Simone Biles, the gymnast, gold medalist. Awesome. This week, I'm going to touch on a great thing we got going on in the NBA. But first, I want to start with Clarissa Shields. We're going to start off with the women. This past weekend, Clarissa did her first MMA fight, and she won. So now we can say she's undefeated in boxing and MMA. So shout out to Clarissa Shields, Michigan's own, Flint's own Clarissa Shields. Now, there was a lot leading up to this fight because, again, Clarissa is not an MMA fighter. She's a boxer. She goes in the ring and makes it happen. She has 2 belts in her field, but then she said, okay, you know what? I'm already good at boxing. She calls herself the GOAT. Not the GOAT, the GOAT, the greatest woman of all times. So the GOAT, she said, I want to go out here and I want to do MMA fight. And I want to take the gloves off, fist to face, kicking, punching, doing it all. And she trained. She did what she had to do. In the post conference, she said, the first 2 rounds, baby girl was giving it to her, but she said, her trainer and her head and everything she heard, just don't give up and give it to her. So after those first 2 rounds, she made it happen. She did what she had to do and sis tapped out. So I'm proud of Clarissa, especially being, from the inner city, always giving back to Flint, always coming to do what she has to do. And the people that she inspired in this area, when I first came to Mid-Michigan to work in the news, whenever it was something about Clarissa, like she just inspired so many people here in Mid-Michigan alone, not just Flint, but in the Saginaw area and the surrounding areas as well. So I know she really put on for Michigan, especially for Flint this past weekend, and especially for the women. You got Simone with the GOAT on her leotard. Now you got the GOAT out here. They're really doing it for women in sports. And I just want to, bask in the moment, I guess, really, because that's what's up. I'm excited. Moving on from GOAT to GOAT, Madden, teased, they came out with their video earlier in the week and they teased the cover. So on the cover, it was going to be the GOAT. It was 2 GOATs or whatever. So everybody was like, what could it be? What could it be? And this GOAT versus baby GOAT. Or, that's what it seems to be. So I said, okay, Tom Brady versus Patrick Mahomes, like the Super Bowl. And then you had some people saying like Aaron Rodgers could be there. We all, expected for it to be Tom Brady. I also heard like maybe not Tony Romo. Oh my God, who would want to see that? But just some of the past greats there on the cover as well. So like I said, I thought it was going to be Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady. So the teaser went out earlier this week, and the reveal was supposed to be next week on the 22nd, next Tuesday. But it looks like they put something out today, which was Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes. So you guys actually check that out and let me know who you thought it should be, because Mahomes was just on the cover of Madden last year. And, luckily he didn't get injured. Well, with a turf toe. So I guess that Madden curse really means something. I don't know. Well, let's hope nothing happens to Tom Brady being the GOAT on the cover of Madden this year. But I just, at this point, what are we still doing with Madden anyway? Like, I know they update the game, but the game is really the same. So is there some kind of like once you get on the system, it kind of like loads there because I know it's like Xbox and PlayStation and stuff. And I really feel like you should just be able to go through the software and pay for some kind of update to get all of the new features. Like, why are we keep going out here and buying this game over that? And I'm glad that I don't have to do that. I'm glad that my husband is not a gamer like that, and he would probably buy his own games if he wanted them anyway. But that'd be like something ladies like to do, like, oh boo, I got you a new game, little stuff like that. I'm glad I don't have sons because me, I would feel like it just needs to be an update, not necessarily $70 a year for the same game for y'all to change the cover and add a few updated players and stuff like that. Like I don't, but needless to say, it's always a who's gonna make the cover of Madden, who is this, and so this year you got Goat versus Baby Goat. Actually, I think it would have been nice if Aaron Rodgers would have made it too. I'm not an Aaron Rodgers fan, but he was an MVP. So you got Super Bowl MVP versus regular MVP. So that would have been cool as well. But we'll see how that works. We don't even really know what's going on with Aaron Rodgers still. That's, as I mentioned last week, that is still up in the air. Aaron hasn't officially retired yet. He hasn't said he was going to be quarterback, Green Bay. I guess they're still trying to figure everything out. Like I said, I personally feel like Aaron will retire, but who knows? I mean, I hope he retires, like I said last week. But I'm willing to give Aaron Rodgers his flowers. The only reason why I need him to retire is because I'm a Lions fan, and at the end of the day, with Aaron Rodgers out of the NFC North, that puts Jared Goff at the number one quarterback, as I mentioned before. So, guys, go ahead and check out that last episode of Sports Talk if you didn't get it last week for my fourth perspective on that. But, yes, we could give Aaron his flowers while he's still here, definitely playing the game. Now, a quick segue to quarterbacks that we're not sure what's going on with. We have Deshaun Watson still up in limbo with the Texans because, he's still in court. Nothing's going on with that. Nothing. It's still a court case because, again, as I mentioned in a previous episode, he can't even go and be deposed until after the Super Bowl. So he'll never be able to speak on the witness stand and tell his side of the story or say anything until even after the Super Bowl. So right now, he's kind of in a awkward space because he's still on the team and he still wants to be traded. But what's going on? Now, I mentioned that Denver was looking at Aaron Rodgers, but I read the other day that Denver is actually saying that they will be willing to trade for Deshaun Watson. Now, where the Texans is saying kind of, oh, well, they don't know if Watson will play, Denver is like, hey, bring him over here. But at this very moment, he hasn't been officially placed on leave. He's not on paid leave with the NFL. So that makes the trade kind of, you don't know. Well, if he's on paid leave, he can't be traded anyway. He's on leave. But if he's not on leave, I feel like, Houston, if they want out to part ways with him anyway, they should just go ahead and trade him. What Houston is doing, though, is letting this maybe die down or whatever, because in the beginning of all of this, remember, they didn't want to trade Watson anyway. Watson wanted out, and Houston was not trying to trade him, and then boom, here come all of these allegations of misconduct during the massages and stuff like that. So I believe Watson will play simply because he can't be in court until after the Super Bowl anyway. So what's the point of, having a whole season and then waiting if he's not going to play? Like, if he's not going to play, they might as well let this play out in court to see what's going to go on for the seasons later on down the line. So honestly, let's just go ahead and say what we're going to say. Place the man on paid administrative leave, trade him, or do something. But it looks like Watson again is ready to start because y'all he was out there practicing. He posted that on his social media not too long ago, and he ready to do what he do best. Actually, Deshaun Watson is still at the top of list. I mean, he still make top 10 lists for quarterbacks. And no, these allegations shouldn't, take anything away from him and what he's able to do and what he's capable of doing. But we're from such a cancel culture that you feel like once one thing is said against you, now you're guilty until proven innocent. That they'll rather take everything away from you and then give it all back to you, as opposed to, basically what they're doing with Deshaun Watson. So I do want to just clap it up for the people in the media that continues to give Deshaun Watson his flowers as well and place him on those top 10 lists for quarterbacks, because he definitely deserves to be there. So I'm excited about that. Now, we going back to the women, y'all, because remember when I said this was about women, and I'm excited about the women. And this is big news for women in the NBA. Now, for you guys who did not know, the former head coach and president of the Detroit basketball operations for the Detroit Pistons, Stan Van Gundy, was recently fired as head coach of the New Orleans Pelicans yesterday. Now, he served only one season there, but under him, there was Teresa Witherspoon. Witherspoon is rumored to be promoted from assistant coach to head coach, and she will be the first woman to be a head coach in the NBA. Now, y'all, that is so big. Listen, Teresa won the NCAA championship with Louisiana Tech. She then went on to play overseas and in the WNBA. She was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2019, and she's been working with the Pelicans since 2019. So if this actually happens, and rumor has it that it's going to happen, like the organization love her, this is what we need. And it honestly puts women in a greater space, especially in sports, because now it seems like you have sports and then you have women's sports. It's never like we could just say or be happy with the two, oh, women's basketball don't get ratings, so they don't get paid. It's always like just a bad stigma when it comes to women in sports or women's sports and stuff. It's never exciting. And over the years, we've seen more women start to have positions and hold great roles in regular sports, men dominated sports. And with Teresa Witherspoon possibly being the first head coach in the NBA, this is exciting for women. I mean, look at it. Remember last year we had the big news with Sarah Thomas, and not last year, this year with the Super Bowl and officiating, and everybody was happy, especially when she made her debut as coming out as a woman official. Like, now who would have thought to be an official for the NFL? I mean, me, I would love to. I mean, my dream would not to be, maybe you know what, my dream should be to be an NFL official instead of an NFL player. Honestly, now that I think about it, now that I'm saying it out loud, I would probably rather be an official. I used to want to be a player, but it's too physical. So, official for me. But not too many people want that role. And just to see more women, doing it to be examples for the young girls coming in and doing it, it was exciting. Like, she made her playoff debut in 2019 in that game against the Patriots and the Chargers, and everybody was excited. Like, yes, that was a great game, but it was bigger news that we had a woman official out there. Like, well, it was bigger news for me and maybe a lot of other, sports fans and women fans, but I'm excited. Let's give it one more time. Give it up one more time for Teresa Witherspoon. Y'all, we doing it big. We're going to have a woman head coach. We got a woman VP. Like, who run the world? Girls. So I'm just happy to be on the train. It's not too many women who do what I do. And I actually do this for women. Yes, I love that I have men viewers, but women, we don't get a lot of sports news that's given to us on our level. You know what I'm saying? We don't. It's always a stat here. This player did this. This is what this player is doing. This is what this athlete is capable of. Yes, news may come out and they talk about the news that happens, but then it's always tied into, well, is this a good player? Is this going to be really detrimental to the whole team? Stuff like this. And me, I want to give this to us more on a relaxed platform. So I'm just super excited, like extremely excited that, this is where we at and, this is where we going to be. So give it up one more time to just the women doing what they do and doing what they love. Now, y'all know I love me some Michigan football. Just Michigan in general. Go blue. It's been a dark cloud a little bit over the university. These look like a week, maybe two, over the Dr. Anderson sexual allegations and what's come up. Now, the universities, I don't even know what to call him, maybe hero. I can call him a University of Michigan hero, Bo Schembechler. His name has now come up in a lot of the allegations against Anderson. The former University of Michigan head coach, Bo Schembechler, he's been a topic of conversation for a minute. Last year in 2020, the former doctor there, Dr. Anderson, it was allegations about 1,000, almost 1,000 student athletes came out to say that Anderson, sexually abused them during, I guess, doctor visits or physical exams and things like that. And it wasn't just football players. It was all kinds of athletes and mostly men. I believe it was all men, actually. Well, here recently, Bo Schembechler's adopted son, Matt Schembechler, said that he told Bo about Dr. Anderson's abuse, and basically Bo told him to toughen up. He made him feel like Bo may do something about it, but he never did. So of course there's a family divided there, but I believe it becomes a little more interesting where the family of Bo Schembechler is coming out to defend him and say, well, if that's something that Matt is saying, it's something that Bo has never told me. Well, of course he didn't tell you that, because who's going to tell you that they know the team doctor is molesting athletes? Like, for one, if I was going to go tell my husband something like that during pillow talk, he should look at me like something's wrong with me, because at this point, you're as much of a predator as he is, especially if you know and you're allowing it to keep going. So when the story was breaking and that was coming out just the other day, yesterday to be exact, it's like, rest in peace to Bo Schembechler and rest in peace to Dr. Anderson. I never want to speak ill on the dead, but even for the victims in this, like, it's got to be tragic, because it's something that you have to live with for the rest of your life. And even if, now this new investigation into, Bo Schembechler and the doctor that people are calling for, it still will really not get justice for the victims, because the accused is deceased. But I really feel like overall what the victims want is the university to really take accountability for what happened there. Because, the university put out a statement. They acknowledged Dr. Anderson, what he did was wrong, and when all that happened, but it's really nothing for the victims. And I'm not saying, they need to get paid or, anything like that, because everything should not turn into a money thing. But even with the Bo Schembechler thing, like, Bo is literally a University of Michigan hero. Is Schembechler Hall. They have the statue out there. If this end up being something that could be proven and something during this investigation that comes out, Schembechler Hall has to go. That statue has to go. And unfortunately, it could go to the point where if the students and the victims and people really felt so strong, they could protest out there and possibly try to take the statue down themselves, a mob, and possibly go to jail. It's people out here that do anything that they feel is right for their freedom. I mean, look at the people who stormed the Capitol. I mean, some of us, we think that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Why do that? But those people out there really felt strongly about what they doing and felt like what they were doing were right. So it's people that will do that here at the University of Michigan, because that's a university hero, and it seems like the university, they're really trying to sweep it under the rug. And when you look at it like, the back to the family thing. Well, the family is divided. Matt Schembechler is his adopted son, and Matt's mom died. After Matt's mom died, Bo remarried, and had kids with his, wife. So if you take it all back and go back, I'm not sure this man would pillow talk with his wife and say, hey, Matt told me that Anderson was molesting him during, team physicals. Like, again, if that's something that he could share with his wife, and it's something that he knew way back then, like, he's a creep. Like, you're nasty. You might as well be doing it too. And it's unfortunate because it's something that can't be proven. It's a he said, she said. They want another investigation. An investigation has nothing to do with the university. They want people from the private company to come in and conduct this investigation because people want answers. And I personally feel like they should get them, but it's going to be hard. And how will justice be served for the victims? Like, that's what's next, because again, Anderson and Schembechler is deceased. Anderson, he's been gone. And this was years after his death when the allegations against him came up and the investigation proved to be true. If we look at Michigan State, Larry Nassar, the victims got to see him, speak to him. He got to hopefully feel how he made them feel, or a little bit of how he made them feel, because I mean, it's nothing nobody could do to him except molest him to where he know how they really feel. But justice was served for those victims. In this case, what can a university do to get justice? And that's really where I'm at with it. That was the biggest news of the week to me, about Bo Schembechler, because he's a Michigan hero, and this topic puts a dark cloud over the whole university, like a program and a university that has been known and loved across, the nation. It's not just here in Michigan. And it sucks that, you still have people out here that's hurting and going through these things and live with this their whole lives. And it probably affects how they live every day. And that's what's hard. And I do hope that the investigation do come out and prove who's right, who's wrong. And that something could be done for the victims anyway, because it's already been proven that Anderson is a creep. So let's do something to get justice for these young men. So, and that's just where I'm going to leave it at, guys, because this is always a slippery slope, and I'm never, ever trying to make anyone guilty. I believe in innocent until proven guilty. I'm not the other way around. So we'll see where this goes. I'll bring you guys updates as I get them weekly if I have to, like I did with Deshaun Watson. But if not, the next time I do get a great update, I will definitely bring it to you guys. Before I leave, I always have to have my shameless plug. Order your Sports Talk with Whitney B shirts. They are on the website, mywhitneyb.com/shop. That's mywhitneyb.com/shop. We have the black and white tee and the yellow and pink tee. Very, very, very soft material. You'll love it. Thank you for your support. I really appreciate everyone who has already ordered one and everyone who will order one. Thank you guys again. Also, remember to tune in this Saturday to Love and Success, the Rocky Road Productions Porch Talk podcast. RRP Productions is a broadcast media company where you yourself, if you're doing a podcast or you have a show, radio show, rapping, anything you do as far as entertainment, you could be a part of the brand as well. To find out more information about that, go to rockyroadmedia.com. That's ROCKYROADMEDIA.com. This week at 4 p.m. on Saturday, Rocky Road Productions on Facebook. You can see Love and Success. And right after Love and Success at 5 p.m., it'll be Vitamin D with Black and GP, guys. Those shows are great shows. You'll learn things. You'll laugh. You'll have a good time. So for more information and how to view previous episodes, head over to rockyroadmedia.com. Again, that's ROCKYROADMEDIA.com. Again, for more information on me, Sports Talk, you can just look up on my website, mywhitneyb.com, for other ways to listen. We are on Apple and Spotify, so make sure if you listen on Apple to leave a 5-star review and let me know how you feel. I appreciate everyone for tuning in every week with me. Again, we're on episode 13 of Sports Talk with me, your girl Whitney B, and I'm out.